Alright, welcome back. I'm still Iejir, and we're playing with the Wardens of Darkness in SOTS2. Still on the first turn, and, last time talked about the different fleets, the station, the user interface. Did set our starting naval station to, switch from having the heavy drivers to missiles. I actually can't hit retrofit because it's already doing it. Now to come on this screen, big pie circle, you click on it, it opens up this screen here, which tells you all about your finances that you have going. Let's see if I can, it's not going to balance back to where it starts, but you do actually start with this bar partly filled. Now I'll go around this screen for a little bit. Here's your pie chart, and again your research and government sliders. It also breaks down your different spending into different categories. Right here's your security, which has your spying, and eventually will have your like sabotage and different things. You can move this slider. This slider is out of the entire income. These sliders here, and all three of these are on that part. Now, unfortunately, right now the AI doesn't actually use spying, so you can just go ahead and max out the intel, which will boost your the amount of points you have to spend on your spies. It will lower the amount of points you have to counter spies, however, so multiplayer might not be the best idea. This little tick mark here is where your corruption, which, if you have less than that, then you have some corruption which takes out of your research funds. Doesn't affect usually your savings, but it does take out of the amount of money you have for research. So just keeping on that line, once you click it on it per turn, it will lock that slider, so you can just sit there and that slider will move all on its own. This screen, the stimulus, you can pay corporations to do stuff, so you don't have to. By default, it starts out with colonization, which basically makes independent colonies. You don't have any control over them, but they will actually make the planet better for you. And you can eventually get techs where you can incorporate them in your empire. Mining is the one I personally use only. It basically builds mining stations, increases the industrial output, and they will do it on a new system, makes that system, or that the planets that you recently colonized in that system work a lot faster. Become perfect a lot faster. Trade, you can also have them make trade freighters for you, but you can't control them, you can't upgrade them, you can't scrap them if you get a better one or when you get the heavy freighters. And you also can't choose where they grow except by closing a system, which has other problems. Here, this is just another way you can modify your savings for this turn. Again, you start out with quite a bit of stimulus, I'd recommend you just nix it. And here's your research slider. You have your special projects, your salvage research, which special projects give you things like the monitor, different independents that are randomly placed. The salvage research you can get with a salvage and research sip, unless you're the Zool, in which case you have a chance with any of your ships. But it basically, unlocks 100% chance to get a tech. We'll get into that later. Down here you see the basic expenses. I'm not developing any colonies. I don't, you have your fleet units, which you start out with, is basically all your ships. And stations, all your stations you currently have running. I just have the naval station, but it does cost a hefty chunk. Also corruption, and you do get it's a 1% interest on either your debt or your savings. Right now I have 100 in savings, so I have 10,000 in interest I'll get every turn. It's always nice to be able to boost that. Here you have the different ships that are building. If it's in blue, it's scheduled to build that turn. It's not completely accurate, so be careful. Here you have your stations, any modules on the stations, and any of the colonies you have. And here's a quick, grasp of this. It is a little smaller since I'm using a smaller size to run it more effectively. But here's, a thing of your spending. I try to keep, 100,000 per turn growth. It increases the economy, which will increase my morale quite quickly. And here's a general breakdown of all your stats. If you see numbers in green, that mean it went up. If you see them in red, that means it went down. So the economy rating is how well it hates, or how well your economy is doing and how well your people react to it. If you keep getting money, that'll keep going higher, and when you hit 85 and 100, you get morale modifiers, which will increase that, allow you to, stay out of rebellions, and allow you to raise your taxes, especially with some extra tax. And you can see it also has the current research project. This will tell you how many turns, in theory, until it is, as well, if you're actually researching instead of doing a feasibility study. However, it's, basic overview of expenses. By the way, you only get taxes on civilians. And here you can change your tax rate, up higher or lower. The higher it is, and it's not a steady 1-to-1 scale. A 6 usually is a -1 morale, but a 7 is -3, and it goes up, I believe, to -20 at 10 tax. Again, as far as morale goes, the Zol don't care, so you can go ahead and set it to 7, which is their max. It also gives you a listing of the incomes from the colonies, and you can get a colony both here and up here. That basically just means that they're getting more taxes in than you're paying on survival. Another benefit of the 100,000 a turn to me is that also means that you can build, stations and stations and modules without, having to worry too much about it. By the way, these sliders will move, and this mark will move, but the slider won't necessarily match the marks. And that'll be the economy screen. I'm gonna upload this up real quick, and then I think I'm gonna look at the research. Have a good day.